We arrived at the Bagdogra airport at around 7:20 in the morning. We took a car to Dhotre directly from the airport. Personal cars cost you around Rs 3500. You can also avail share jeeps from the airport only. In the middle of the journey, we did a short halt at the famous Mirik Lake. Dhotre is a beautiful little village located around 20 kilometers by car road from Manibhanjan. There are hardly 60 to 70 households in this village and mostly comprises of porters and guides. We had the most hospitable guide and he had recently started his own little homestay and we were pretty much the first people to stay there. We had a delightful stay for the night. Generally, most homestays in the trail charges you around 800 rupees per person including fooding and lodging. You can find the details of our tour guide in the description below. We reached Tonglu at around 10 o'clock. Tonglu is a small settlement situated right at the Indo-Nepal border. Many travelers prefer to take a one-night halt at Tonglu and we highly recommend it as the view from there is beautiful. Also, Tonglu is situated at almost a height of 3000 meter, and hence it is a good place to stay if you want to acclimatize yourself. Or else you can stay at Tumling or Jobari, which are also nearby. Tumling is a much bigger settlement than Tonglu. Here you will find comparatively many more homestays and hotels. So if you can't find a place to stay at Tonglu, you can always stay at Tumling as well. The Singalila National Park starts 1 kilometer after Tonglu. The national park covers both the peaks of Sandakphu and Phalut. It is the home of many rare species of animals like the red panda, pangolin, etc. There is a small check post at the entrance and you will require to show your permit for the entry to the national park here. In case if you haven't got one, no need to worry, you can get one from here as well. The permit cost is rupees 100 per person per day. You can get it from Manebhanjan, where there is an office from where you may get your guide as well. Note that you will mandatorily require a guide on your trek because you cannot enter the national park without a registered guide. We reached Gairibas at around 3:30 in the afternoon. It was post lunchtime and hence we had some momos and tea. It was a long day of trek. After all, we had walked 17 kilometers for around 9 hours. We were very tired and took shelter for the night at the GTA Trekkers Hut. Gairibas is also a very small settlement. One side of the road is Nepal and the other side India. There are a couple of homestays also. The rooms were quite cozy and there are individual rooms as well as dormitories available. We took a double-bedded room for rupees 500. The food is also quite good. However, we had our lunch and next day's breakfast at the local joints, which were also quite nice. In order to stay at the GTA hut, you need to book well in advance. One thing to mention is that the entire hut is run on solar power and hence you can't charge your electronic stuffs there. However, you can charge your stuffs at the local hotels. You can have your lunch or dinner at these hotels and in return they will let you charge your electronic goods for free or take meager amounts of money. Day 2 trek is 12 kilometers, which is around 5 to 6 kilometers less than day 1, but actually it is quite more challenging. Kalipokre is 6 kilometers from Gairibas and just at the middle of the 12-kilometer trek route. The route till Kalipokre is not that steep and will take you in between 3 to 4 hours depending on your speed. But after Kalipokre, the trail is full steep and combined with the increasing altitude, it takes much longer to complete. So if you are a beginner at trekking and you want to complete the trail in one day, you must start out quite early in the morning. Please do not throw plastics anywhere. We had taken some chocolate bars and energy bars with us but brought back all the wrappers home. Kalipokre is right at the middle of the trek from Gairibas to Sandakphu. Sandakphu is 6 kilometers from here. We did our ascent in 2 days, but many tourists prefer to reach Sandakphu in 3 days' time. In that case, you may spend the first night at Tonglu or Tumling, the second night at Kalipokre, and reach Sandakphu on the third day. The last few kilometers of the trek to Sandakphu are a bit challenging. The altitude increases and the trek route becomes quite steep. If you are trekking only from Kalipokre to Sandakphu, then it might not be that much of a problem because you will be trekking only 6 kilometers. But if you are trekking a longer route, then you might find it a bit hard to cover the last 2 to 3 kilometers depending upon your fitness. And if you are trekking, then you are likely to take the shortcuts or the foot trails and not the concrete road meant for Land Rovers. Hence, it is good to keep a minimum level of fitness and also start out a bit early on this day of the trek.
The next morning was a big letdown. The entire sky was filled up with clouds, and none of the mountain ranges were to be seen. The sun came out for some minutes and quickly hid behind the clouds. But this was not a setback to our journey, because after all we had some unforgettable memories during the trek to take back home. Day 3 trek was from Sandakphu to Srikhola, which was about 16 kilometers. The entire stretch on this day's trek was downhill. Initially we found it quite easy, but after covering 10 kilometers, we were literally struggling. The route was in very bad condition due to an erosion that had occurred in the recent monsoons. And by the time we had reached Srikhola, our ankles were swollen and knees aching badly. The only stop during this day's trek was at Gurudom. Otherwise, you won't find any sign of human settlement on this route. You can end the day's trek at Srikhola, or else you may go to Rimbik or Sepi, which are also nearby. If you are going to Falut or Gorkhe, then also the route culminates at Srikhola. We halted the night at Srikhola. Next morning, we took a shared jeep to Darjeeling. It took us around 4 hours. You will get both shared jeeps as well as cabs, and your guide will do the arrangement for you. We got the biggest surprise when the next morning we woke up and saw the Kanchenjunga staring right at us from our hotel window. Nature hadn't ignored us totally after all. A breakfast at Glenaries in Darjeeling is always a must. We returned the next day, but there was some really rare and amazing biodiversity that we saw in the trail that actually made it totally not at all feel bad for not being able to see the Himalayan ranges from Sandakphu. We especially spotted some rare mushrooms that were possible to be seen just because the monsoons had just ended. But remember one thing, these biodiversities will only exist if the weather is pure, and hence it is our utmost duty not to harm or pollute the environment while traveling. You should travel in a manner so that nature doesn't even notice your presence. Try to make as less noise as possible, especially in the forest areas, because there are many extremely endangered species of animals residing there. Anyways, keeping these small aspects in mind, you can go to this beautiful little trek. It will surely bring some unforgettable memories to your life.